So I'll go through the review today. Test will be tomorrow. And then we'll start in on Chapter 7 on Thursday. 7.1 and 7.2 this week. There's 5 sections in Chapter 7. So we should... similarity, similar triangles, ratios, proportions.
Nice.
Yeah. Chapter 8 is the trigonometry chapter. I'm going to kind of see how long it'll take us to get through Chapter 7. We may end up going Chapter 7, taking the test, and then starting in on the final review. We have 3.5 weeks. We'll probably end up with a quiz. If we have 5 sections, I'd say the chapter test will be the beginning of not this coming week, but the week after. So we'll kind of see if I end up starting Chapter 8 before Christmas.
What's the rule with the final?
If you have an A or a B going into the final for the semester,
An A or a B?
you don't have to take it.
Awesome.
Yeah, but if you choose to take it because you want to raise your B or think you're close to an A and you could do well on the test, you may, but you don't have to. Yep. So those people who don't have to take it can use that week to study for their other finals or whatever in here. And then, yeah. Okay. First question. Find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex 50gon. So what's the formula to find the sum of the angles?
X minus this 2
Times 180, right. So we'll take 48 times 180. Anybody remember the answer?
like 8,640.
This calculator's messed up. 8,640?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Get a different calculator. Next is find the value of x. Well, x is one of the angles, right? There's a couple ways to do this problem, but I think the easiest way to do it is take, what are each of these angles going to be equal to?
360.
No?
No, it's the.
Or wait.
To do the n
We have
minus
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. So 4 times 180 is 720 divided by 6, right? 120. All right. 720.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 times 180 divided by 6. So each one of these angles is equal to 120. To me, that would be what that, but it's not regular, so I can't do that, huh? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
If it were
this-
regular and this said x, then I could say that angle is 120, but it's not.
we did. But
Yeah.
You tried, okay.
Yep. So you're going to take x plus 70 plus x plus, I'm going to just add those two together, plus x plus 30. And that's equal to 720. So I have 1, 2, 6, 8, 9 x's. And then I have 70 plus minus 10 is 60, plus 30, 90. Yeah. And then just take 720 minus 90 divided by 9. 70 is x. Yep. Okay. Find the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex 65gon. Yep. Sum of the exterior angles of any polygon is always 360. No special formula needed. Which of the following is a property of all parallelograms?
opposite sides are congruent.
No. A parallelogram, both pair of opposite sides are congruent. This one says only one pair. That's not true. Each pair of opposite angles is congruent. That's always true. Yeah. This says only one pair is congruent. A parallelogram, both pairs are congruent. Yep. So that's A. sometimes here, those are rectangles, and rectangles are parallelograms, but it's not true for all parallelograms. And what do we know about the angles that are supplementary in a parallelogram? Is it opposite? Consecutive. Mhm. All right, for this parallelogram, find angle 1. 38, because this is parallel to this, and there's your transversal. These are alternate interior. So angle 1 is 38 degrees. Okay, if ABCD is a parallelogram, I'm going to go ahead and sketch that. Not very good, but. And the diagonals intersect. What's special about diagonals of a parallelogram?
They intersect at the same.
They bisect each other?
Yeah, they bisect.
Yeah, and this is E. AE is equal to 4x minus 8. And EC is equal to 36. Find the value of x. Yeah, 4x minus 8 equals 36. So 4x equals 44. X is 11. Okay, next one. Find the values of the values of x and y so that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Well, I know what about these two angles? They're equal, and I know what about this angle and this angle? They're equal. They're alternate interior. So I can just do two different equations. Maybe. Honestly. 4. Oh my gosh. Equals 3x plus 23. So if I subtract that, I get x. If I add that, I get 27. So it's got to be A or B. So now I just need to figure out, what do I have? 1/3 y equals y minus 60. So if I multiply everything by 3, and then I subtract, I get negative 2y equals negative 180. So y is 90. So it is A. Questions on that one? Okay, find the value of x so that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Well, what do we know about opposite sides? They're equal. Three x equals 36, so x is 12. ABCD is a parallelogram, and it gives me coordinates. Let's see how I can do these with, I should be able to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, negative 2, and 8, negative 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? Close enough there. So I'm going to say it could either go, am I wrong?
Your last one is on 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here. So this one is 2 over, so this one should be 2 over here. If I wanted it to be that way, I could also make it really steep this way. So I have a couple of options, so I'm going to play with both. So one of them would be negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that a choice? Nope. Okay, so the next one is I'm going to have to go 8 from this one, right? Or 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because those lengths have to be the same. And what does that make it? 14?
1 or 4.
4, yeah.
I'm just gonna say that line, that's a really good line.
Thanks. Okay. ABCD is a rectangle. If AB is 7x minus 6 and CD is 5x plus 30, well, again, those two sides have to be equal, right? So I'm just going to set them equal. 7x minus 6 equals 5x plus 30. So 2x equals 36. So x is 18. Which of the following is true for all rectangles? Diagonals are perpendicular. Nope. That's rhombus in a square. Rectangles aren't rhombuses. Rhombi. Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Yeah.
Yep. Opposite sides are supplementary. No, sides aren't supplementary. Angles are. Opposite angles are complementary. Nope. So B. ABCD is a rectangle. So it's another one. I've got to find, let's see how well I do here. Nope. I need -8. Yowzer. Let's just go this way. Okay. -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of this stuff. 5, 3. 5, -8. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I would say it needs to be -7, -8. Okay. Okay, now we've got a rhombus. Rhombus GHJK, find the measure of angle 1. What's a rhombus? Are all rhombi parallelograms? Yes. So what do I know that angle is equal to? It is, but what's the value? What's the measure of it? Consecutive angles in a parallelogram are supplementary. So,
180 minus 120.
yep, 52. So this is 52. Well, this is a right triangle, so that means these two have to add up to 90.
So,
38. Diagonals of a square intersect at E, and let's call this A, B, C, D, E. If AE is 3x minus 4, BD is equal to 10x minus 48. So this whole thing, okay? Well, what do I know about the diagonals of a square? They're equal. So 2 of these is going to equal 1 of these. So if I just multiply this whole thing by 2, I'll get 6x minus 8. And that's going to equal 10x minus 48. Right? And then just solve for x. So I have negative 4x equals negative 40. So x is 10. Is that what it asks?
No, you have to
Find AC. Well, AC is 6x minus 8 or 10x minus 48. Doesn't matter. I'll just use this. I put 10 in. I get 60 minus 8 is 52. You notice how tricky they are? They put 10 in as an answer. So you solve for x and you think you're a superstar, and that's not what they asked. Darn it. Okay.
It's 53, not 10.
See? Even when you know it's wrong, you still circle it. Okay. Now we have an isosceles trapezoid. And let's go ahead and get, how far down do I need to go? -1. 0, -1, -2, 3, 6, -1. So I can see that this is upside down. It's isosceles. This is going to go over 2 and up, what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go over 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, that should be my last point here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3. Okay. For isosceles trapezoid MNOP, find the angle of MNP. MNP, this angle. I could actually get it too. Okay. Well, these two are parallel, NO and MP. That's the definition of a trapezoid. So I know this angle is 28, right? What else do I know? This is isosceles, so these two together are what? Same as those two together?
Yeah. So that's 28 and 42, or 42 and 28.
Is
Like M and. Yeah.
70, right? This angle is 70?
Yeah.
And if this is 70 and that's 28, that's 98. 180 minus 98 is 182? 82, I mean, not 182. That makes sense? I have this triangle. I know this angle is 28. I know this whole angle is equal to this whole angle, which is 70. I'm trying to find that angle. So 98, 180 minus 98 is 82.
Oh. Yeah.
The length of one base of a trapezoid is 19 meters. And the length of the median is 23 meters. Length of one base. And I don't know whether the 19, well, and the 19's got to be the top, right?
Yes.
Because it's less than the median. And this is 23. And I'm trying to find the other base. Let's call this x. Well, the definition of median is it's x plus 19 over 2 equals 23. Right? Multiply, I get x plus 19 equals 46. Subtract 19, what is that, 1727? Good. On a coordinate plane, the four corners of Ronald's garden are located at 0, 2, 4, 6, 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and it's a mystery, 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, -2. Which of the following most accurately describes the shape of his garden? Well, most accurate, I mean, I could say I could say parallelogram. If all four sides are equal, that would be a parallelogram. It would also be a rhombus, and it could be a square. Most accurate would be a square. So that might be the easiest to rule out. Because if I could rule out that the sides aren't equal, I know it's not a square or a rhombus, right? I can tell it's not a trapezoid, so it could be a rectangle if the sides aren't all equal. How can I prove the sides are all equal?
Diagonals intersect.
Diagonals intersect at the midpoint? Is that what you're meaning?
Yes. Like they're equal.
Okay, are they equal on a square and a rhombus, or just a square?
Both.
So if I prove the diagonals intersect, I know it's either a square or a rhombus. And if I could prove that all four sides are equal, then I know it's a square. or a rhombus, either one. But if both the diagonals intersect, or they're the same length, and all four sides are equal, then I know it's a square. Another thing I could do is maybe see if those two come in at a right angle. Because if these four corners are right angles, it's a square. How could I show that the four corners come in at a right angle? Find the slope. Okay. The slope of this one, here's the point here, 0, 2, and this point is 4, 6. So it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? Yes, 4 over 4. So that slope's 1. This slope goes from 4, 6 to 8, 2. So it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4, negative 1. They're opposite inverse of each other, so I know that's a 90. If I could find that one is a 90, then I know it's a square. And this slope is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1 and negative 1 also. Might be the fastest way.
Yeah.
If I could eliminate the most precise, then I could start figuring out what I would need to do to find the other three. But if I am able to find that it is a square, then I know right away I don't have to worry about the other three. Does that make sense? Start with the most stringent and maybe work my way backwards. Because I could go ahead and say, are the opposite sides equal? Well, then it's a parallelogram, but that's not even a choice. I could, with the rectangle, if all four sides are 90, and the slope, I can see that the distance here and the distance here is the same distance. And the same with the other two sides. I can rule out rectangle and move to square. Okay. For kite, W, X, Y, Z. Find the measure of angle W. So how do we do this?
It equals 360. 130
Okay.
plus 18 plus x and x equals 360.
What do we know about angle W and angle Y in a kite?
Same.
They're the same. So I could say 2x plus 148, right?
Yep.
50, is that 100, wow, 12, yes.
Oh.
Is that right?
Wouldn't it be 212?
212.
Could rule that one out right away. Okay. ABCD is a parallelogram with those coordinates. To prove it's a rhombus, you would plot the parallelogram on a coordinate plane and then find which of the following. What's special about a rhombus?
A rhombus, the diagonals bisect each other, or like when they go, they make a 90 degree. So they're, I don't know what I'm saying.
The legs, the diagonal,
What's special about how the diagonals intersect?
perpendicular.
They're perpendicular,
That's what I was trying to say.
not the midpoint or anything there. It's the angle. So the slope's what's going to help me with the rhombus. Right? If I can find the slope of the diagonals and I can see that they're the opposite inverse of each other, then I know they're intersecting at a 90, and I can say it's a rhombus then. Okay? The sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex polygon is 10 times the sum of the measures of its exterior angles.
So you're going to do n minus 180 times 10 times 360.
N minus
180.
180 times,
10 times 360.
well, how do I find the sum of the angles in a polygon?
n minus 2 times 180.
Or that's what I meant. That's what I was thinking in my head.
There we go. 10 times 360.
Is 10 times, so is 10 times the sum of the measures of its exterior angles. Well, what's the sum of exterior angles? Yeah, So 180 minus 360 n equals 3,600. 3,960. $22.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, the best way I think to prepare for tomorrow is to go back to the properties of each one of those parallelograms and make sure you know. I mean, you'd have to know that to answer this question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Understand what's special about the diagonals of a rhombus versus special about the diagonals of a kite versus, you know, the angles of kites and rhombi and squares and all of those things. Just do a review of that stuff and then you should be fine. Make sure you know when to use the distance formula, and the distance formula is up there. Or when to use the midpoints of the diagonals to prove things, whatever you think you might need to prepare yourself. But it shouldn't be too bad. This chapter wasn't too bad.
So the answer to number 20 was C?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's something special about a rhombus versus just a
It doesn't-
parallelogram.
Oh, okay.
Because a rhombus, the square also has diagonals are intersect at a 90, but a square is a rhombus. If you're trying to prove it's a rhombus, there's two characteristics of the rhombus. All four sides are equal, and the diagonals intersect at 90s. So that would be what would be most helpful in proving it's a rhombus. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have about 15 minutes left. So I think everything's already due. Is anything due tonight? Yeah, everything was due last night. So if you've got other things, I don't know.
I don't think it
Do we have, it was due Friday?
Okay, I was like,
Friday? Okay, so you're caught up in my class now.
I was about to freak out.